Top 7 reasons people quit tiny home living. What if someone told you that living tiny, having less space, less cost, more simplicity, is the ultimate freedom? For many it is. But what if I told you over half of people who try tiny home living eventually quit, move out, or give up the lifestyle entirely? The dream of small space bliss looks perfect in photos, but real life has its edges. Today we're exploring the top 7 reasons people quit tiny home living, so you can see beyond the Pinterest moments, anticipate what might go wrong, and decide whether tiny is really right for you. By the end, you'll know what few people warn you about, and maybe you'll avoid quitting before you even move in. We'll go through each reason, what it feels like in practice, the hidden costs or emotional toll, a bit of humor to keep us grounded, and then how to respond or plan so you don't wind up selling your tiny home prematurely. Let's dive in. 1. Feeling cramped and lacking space. Tiny homes by design restrict square footage, and sometimes that space feels much smaller than expected. Maybe the loft ceiling feels too low, maybe there's no room for more than one person to cook comfortably. Maybe hosting friends means you're all trying to sit on one tiny couch. For someone used to a spare bedroom, closets full of things, or swapping rooms for different moods, this transition can hit hard. What seemed charming and cozy becomes frustrating when you can't stretch, can't hide clutter, or can't get away from someone else in the home. To make it worse, psychological tension builds. Every tile, every window, every piece of furniture matters in tiny living. You notice every imperfection. You feel every noise more. Storage choices become life choices and organization becomes therapy. Many quit because they realize the emotional cost of less stuff is greater than expected. If you do that, cramped doesn't have to mean miserable. 2. Climate and weather challenges. Tiny homes often amplify climate extremes. In summer, they overheat. In winter, they lose heat fast. Without spacious buffer zones, every degree outside counts. If insulation is under-designed or windows poorly placed, tiny homes can turn into ovens or frigid boxes. Add humidity, condensation, wind, or snow, things that many people think they'll manage easily, until a heat wave or hurricane or heavy snowfall puts that optimism to test. Also, climate isn't just about temperature, it's maintenance. Leaks, mold, pests, or rot show up quickly when moisture accumulates in tight corners. Roofs may need stronger snow load capacity. Foundations must be protected from frost heave. Ventilation is essential. Many tiny home dwellers didn't budget for extra HVAC capacity or special materials. If you ignore the weather, you might find yourself quitting just to escape discomfort. 3. Regulatory and zoning hurdles. Often the biggest surprise is not the square footage, it's the red tape. Many jurisdictions have zoning codes, building codes, and permitting processes that don't recognize tiny homes, especially ones on wheels or non-standard foundations. Some places require residential minimum square footage. Some classify tiny homes as RVS and limit occupancy. Others restrict where you can place a tiny home, rural versus urban, on your own land versus mobile. For many people, the dream bumps into a wall of paperwork, fees, inspections, and sometimes outright denial. The cost of compliance, or legalizing an alternative build, can eat into budgets wildly. Unexpectedly high permit fees, required upgrades to septic or septic inspections, wastewater treatment, or utility hookups can add tens of thousands of dollars. These costs can suck the joy and money out of the tiny home dream. If you do the homework early, you might avoid quitting over red tape. 4. Utility and infrastructure limits. When you live tiny, you often live remote, or at least away from big utility networks. Electricity, water, sewage, internet, all these become harder, costlier, or unreliable. Maybe your land has no grid connection, so you get solar and batteries, but then you realize the cost, maintenance, and need to monitor everything. Maybe water must be hauled or a well drilled, which can be expensive and subject to drought. Maybe waste must be composted or septic is needed, with maintenance. Also, basic infrastructure matters more when you live small. Space for systems is tight, access for repairs is harder, backup systems are essential. Unexpected blackouts, freezing pipes, internet lag, water shortages, small inconveniences in a big house become major in tiny living. People who quit often haven't accounted for these relentless small demands. 5. Social and emotional strain. Tiny home living isolates people differently. With less private space, less separation between personal and shared spaces, emotional friction can rise. Partners might feel constantly underfoot. Hosting becomes harder. Guests often press the limits of space. You may feel trapped indoors if the weather is bad. Emotional fatigue from living small can lead to regrets. Plus, friends and family might not understand. Visitors may expect more comfort. Critics may call it sacrifice or hippieism. There's also loneliness if you move remote. The mental burden of maintaining constant order, because mess is visible, or always compromising can get heavy. Advice: design private zones or retreats, a loft, a small reading nook, an outdoor porch. Establish clear expectations with others sharing the space. Ensure you still get time outside. Build community or connection nearby. Plan social spaces outside your tiny home. Accept that some days will feel tight, and that's okay. Recognizing the emotional side early helps many hang in instead of quitting. 6. Maintenance and wear and tear. Small doesn't mean easy. Everything in a tiny home works harder, surfaces are used intensively, appliances may run non-stop, joints and seals get more stress, movement, if it's mobile, shakes things. What might be a modest repair in a big house becomes critical when space is limited. Also, because everything is close, smells, noise, or moisture transfer more readily. Unexpected maintenance costs, roof leaks, foundation settling, appliance failure, can rapidly accumulate. If you haven't budgeted, those repair bills may feel intolerable. If you accept that maintenance isn't something to ignore, you're less likely to feel the tiny home has become a burden. 7. Lifestyle changes or needs evolving. Many people start tiny living because it fits a life stage. A single person, minimal stuff, freedom. But life evolves. Maybe you have a partner, pets, kids, or new hobbies that require more space or specialized rooms. Perhaps you work from home and need a dedicated office. Or maybe you collect items, have gear, or want hosting. As your life shifts, the tiny home that once felt perfect may feel limited, constraining, or unsustainable. Also, major changes like relocation, climate shifts, health issues, finances can alter what you need. Tiny homes sometimes lack flexibility for big changes. Some folks quit because they underestimated how their priorities would change. Understanding that change is inevitable helps you design a tiny home that grows with you, or know when tiny isn't the forever plan. If this video helped you see what to expect or avoid, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you don't miss upcoming content. Next video, we'll dig into how to design a tiny home that doesn't make you want to move out. In the comments, tell me, which of these reasons do you think would be hardest for you to handle, and which strategy feels most useful? Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.